Hello, this is Mr. Kuchma. I am the grad advisor for the interior of BC for Heritage Christian Online School here. I help families navigate grades 10, 11, and 12 as they reach towards whatever post-secondary goals they have. I am making this video for a couple different groups in mind. So the first group of people that I want watching this video are people that are going to be new to Heritage. So if you're a new student with us, I'm making this really long video that kind of introduces you to a lot of the just way we do things here, different programs, different items, all that kind of thing. So the first little bit of the video is not going to be as directly related to you because the second group of people that I'm sending this video to are going to be grade 8 and 9 families. So if you have a grade 8 or 9 student, I'm sending this video to you so that you can be ready for the grad program when it comes. I want you guys to have the confidence and just the knowledge of what grade 10, 11, and 12 are going to look like so that you can start planning for that now. And hopefully this video will just help solidify some things, answer lots of questions, and get you thinking about these years. So take a look at last year's. Here is mine. I'm wearing the same shirt for continuity, but I now have blue light glasses that help me watch the videos for a lot longer. And my hair is much, much longer than last year. So I have not cut my hair since this time. I just grew it out because of COVID, and it was just one of those things that I did. So anyway, last year's video was 53 minutes. This year's is most likely going to be longer. So this is your fair warning. What I'm hoping to do is in the description of this video, I'm going to have timestamps for different pieces. My presentation is going to be on, maybe move my head over here. My presentation is going to be on a lot of different aspects of the grad program. So we're going to be going over, to start with, differences from K to 9 coming into the grad program. We're going to be talking about credits and the transcript, building towards grade 12. I'm going to go over the websites that we use. There are a lot of them. And some other grad stuff that we all need to be aware of. So these are all the different things. As you can see, maybe I'll just go through them really quickly first. So the differences between K to 9, we're talking about teachers, courses, and the parent-teacher responsibility. I wonder if I should move my head. I'm going to just move it over here for a couple seconds. In credits, I'm going to talk to you about your BCeID, and this is how to access your transcript. We're also going to need to go over the required courses that you need to graduate versus the elective courses. English 10, 11, and 12 is really confusing for students, and fair enough, they made it really confusing. And then we're also going to be going over Christian studies because we've revamped this a lot, and I'm just going to be going over what that looks like for this upcoming school year for everybody. The websites, we have our homepage, onschool.ca, but there's Encom, Moodle, SOPHIE, our course library, which you may probably have not heard of, Learning Commons, Learning Groups. There's actually a grad program page. I should add that here. Well, we're going to go over. And then on the last page, external credits are something that we'll talk about. The Student Support Center, which is awesome. Provincial assessments that you need to take. And then just planning for graduation. So what you want to do when you graduate and how to get there. There's different paths for sure. All right. So we will start with some chatting for differences between the K to 9. So here, if you've never been with Heritage from kindergarten to grade 9, this is the short segment that is not going to relate perfectly to you because I'm obviously talking to families who've been with us for a while, and there is a difference quite substantially with how things work between the two. You know what? I think I'm just gonna put my head over here. Seems like a good spot. Okay. So the difference between kindergarten to grade 9, I'm gonna go to the homepage. So we have an enrolled option. We have a homeschool registered option. So some of you may have come from K to 9 registered, which is very different from the K to 9 online enrolled. So if you came from the K to 9 registered program, the grad program can come as quite a shock to families. It's very robust. Suddenly there's a lot of courses that students have to focus on. In homeschool registered, usually there's 4 core courses that students work on, which is math, science, English, and socials. But then in grade 10, those 4 courses are there in addition to career life education, PE courses, electives like Christian studies and arts and music and all those types of things. So if you've been enrolled through Heritage for kindergarten to grade 9, one of the things that you would have had is you would have had a resource teacher. So that teacher oversees you and your siblings. Oftentimes at Heritage, there's more than one child in the family that's enrolled. So maybe if you're watching this video, you may be the very first student or very first kid in your family coming into the grad program. So it might be scary, and you want to make sure that you got everything together. And this video is designed that I want you to watch it, and then it leads to a conversation afterwards. So once you've watched it, then I want to talk on the phone, and I want to get a plan together for high school. Having this conversation that's going to take me about an hour to go through takes a lot of time. So I'd rather just make this video for everyone to watch and then go from there. So if I didn't tell you before, by the way, go pause your video, go grab some popcorn or your favorite snacks or whatever it is. Maybe you're going to need like me, you can have some paper, some sticky notes, a pen, if you wanting to take notes. Those are the 2 things I recommend. I recommend paper, pen to take down notes, and I also recommend a nice bowl of popcorn that you can just sit here and watch Mr. Kuchma guide you through all these different things. All right. So the K to 9 resource teacher, like I was saying, they would oversee every course that you take. In the grad program, it's very different. We have a great staff. If you go to About Us and you go to, the teachers staff directory, you go to teachers. Some of our teachers are K to 9 teachers, lots of them are. But then there's a few of us. Jim Batchelor teaches Spanish. Cam Brown teaches a bunch of different courses, social studies, geography, all types of things. You'll see me if I scroll down to the K's. See if you can spot me. Boom, there I am, again with shorter hair. So I teach math and science in the grad program, such as the workplace math courses, and I also teach biology. So the teachers in the grad program are different. We are specialized in a certain area. So I really love biology, and I'm really great at math, and that's what I went to university for. I graduated with my Bachelor of Biology, which is really fun. And then when I got into the teaching program, I specialized in math and science because that was my jam. Really loved it. And so now I'm teaching that here at HCOS. So instead of having one teacher that oversees all your courses, you could imaginably have 8 different teachers for your grad program. If you take 8 courses, you might have a different teacher for English, a different teacher for math, et cetera, et cetera. So now you have to suddenly be contacting a lot of different people rather than just your one resource teacher. So you can have a separate math teacher, a separate English teacher, et cetera, et cetera. Then you're also going to have a grad advisor, which is me. And there are a number of different grad advisors. I'll quickly take you to our other directory. So if we go to program admin and we go to the grad program, here are Brad's picture's not there. Brad's a new one. I wonder if I've got a picture of him, but Trish is our assistant to the grad program. Maybe I'll just scroll up and show you our school admin. So Chelsea Bickgood is our director of the grad program. You could think of her as the principal, like kind of like the principal of the high school, and she oversees all of us. She's awesome, wonderful. Go to the same church as her. She's great. And then in our program admin, Trish Van Dop is like our vice principal. She's the one who works alongside Chelsea and helps her with everything. And then we have 4 grad advisors. I have the interior, that is Lower Mainland. And then Ryan has the island and Northern BC. And then Allison Miles is our special ed grad advisor. So she's oversees anyone all over BC, but specifically in the special ed program. And they need designations for that. So this is our team. We really like working together. And I'll just quickly jump ahead to websites for a quick second. So here's our grad program. And I think there's some, I wonder if there's a picture of Brad here. There's Brad. So there's Brad Lemon, the other grad advisor that I work with. And there's this golden photo of Ryan from a few years back. These are all the old photos that we had. So, so great to look back. Okay. So having a grad advisor, what we do is answer a lot of questions for you guys. Whenever you're fielding things about courses, about credits, about requirements, about post-secondary. Our job title at a brick and mortar public school, usually we're called grad counselors. Counselors is like I don't want anyone to think that I have my psych degree, because I am not someone that can, help you with counseling. So we like grad advisors, and we can advise you on how to get through grade 10 to 12 and help you support you through different things. And usually I'll talk about what you would talk to me about as we go throughout the presentation. But the grad advisors are definitely around to help out as much as possible. Another big thing in K-9 is that the amount of different courses it's a little bit different. Oftentimes family will have a curriculum. There's different curriculums that cover everything. So you order one curriculum and it brings you your English, your math, your science, your social studies, Christian studies, and it gives you everything together. You're good. Sometimes they'll be like English socials together, and like math will be separate and science will be separate. But curriculum is definitely a lot different in high school. One of the big things is that our online courses are much more popular than they are in the K-9 program. And I think online courses go down to grade 5. So there's grade 5 to 9 online courses. But our online courses at the grad level are very, very popular. I want to quickly show you some differences between an online, a hybrid, an individualized, and a synchronous course. So we have 4 different types of courses. In an online course, you are going to be online. Usually they are video-based, so you'll be watching things online, and assignments might be printed off and completed that way, but it is a large portion. A large portion of it is expected to be done online. Individualized is much more similar to what you would have experienced in the K-9 program if you were to do an individualized course. You meet with the teacher, you set up an SLP, and an SLP is something that you're probably familiar with coming from K-9. And you set up that course, the learning outcomes, and in high school, which you may be familiar with this as well, with the BC curriculum. If we go to high school, let's look at a grade 10 course. So science. If we go to science 10, I'll look at the PDF. Science 10 is a big course. So these are all of the content pieces that you need to cover. There's curricular competencies that you have to cover, and you have to get this into, this is elaborations, but you've got to get these competencies and this content into an SLP with the teacher, and you can go through different resources and curriculum that can help meet these areas. and our teachers are there. In our individualized and hybrid courses, they're much more paper-based, so they use a curriculum. And the teachers that oversee those courses, they will be the course specialist, so they will help you in choosing curriculum. So for instance, one of the biggest, most popular individualized courses to take is math. Oftentimes, family have a beloved math curriculum that they want to stick with, and our individualized hybrid guy is Ryan Johnston for all of our foundations and pre-calculus courses from grade 10 to 12. He is amazing. If you don't know Ryan Johnston, I'll come back over here. Let's go to teachers. Definitely need to know him. So Ryan Johnston, he lives in Lower Mainland. He was my math guru when I started, and he is the math individualized guy. Going back, there is a option in between online and individualized called hybrid. There's a certain portion online, and there's a certain portion that's individualized, but it usually still uses a curriculum. So there's going to be some sort of textbook, workbook, and then our synchronous courses have taken off they really took off this year. We started them last year in the high school program, and they are doing amazing. I teach all 4 types of courses, so I'm going to show you an example of all 4 of them so that you guys can have a quick look. Okay, so if I go into, I'm going to go into Moodle here. So Moodle is where all of our online courses reside, and I teach a number of different courses. So I will show you an online course first. So an online course, I teach Online Math 10. I've got a little course intro video at the top. I like videos, I like making them. They introduce students to things, like I'm making a video for you right now. So I make this video, students watch the video, learn how the course works, and then they can get started. All of the contact information for a student will be at the top of the course. So in every single course that you enroll in, you can go to the top, find out who's teaching it, and find out how to contact them. Zoom is probably going to be your most common mode, and we'll talk about that. I think it's on like slide 3. So we'll talk about Zoom a little bit more then. In this course, there's a formula sheet, but in an online course, I'm just going to scroll to a video. You will be watching videos to learn the content. That is the way the online courses are set up. So for online math and for a number of our online courses, we use StudyForge, which is a whole program that we designed at Heritage. It is awesome. I love using it. On the teacher side of things, it's great. The student side of things, I mean, mixed reviews. I think some students struggle with the technology side of things. It's awesome. I'll mute the video, but you'll be watching the video. You take notes as you watch these videos. And then underneath these are practice questions, online practice questions that you can scroll through. They have an answer and they have a solution. It's awesome. So an online course, you definitely, I mean, we are an online school. You need to have a computer. You need to, I use a mouse for everything. And you just jump into these courses and this is what it looks like. For my online math course, there is a certain segment of it that it is on paper though. So when you're taking notes from these lessons, they're done on paper. When you do your assignment, you print it off and you show your work. And then same thing with the test. On the test for an online course, it's all done online, but you do show your work on the worksheet in pencil. So it's kind of both. So that's what an online course looks like. In an individualized course, I don't even have the one individualized course that I teach here in Moodle. It's all done through email, and I have an online database. Let's see, it's in, where is it? Should be an online. Well, you know where it is? It's in Google Drive. So I've got one course in Google Drive. And so in my Google Drive course, online teaching, environmental studies, I've got one student, Kinley, she's great, and we have shared documents. And so this is kind of our SLP where she's working through a bunch of assignments, and we have different assessments marked in here. She was working on a bunch of other things, so she works at a couple courses at a time. And so she actually just made like a ton of progress in the course and is working on it right now. So in this course, we created an SLP together. We looked at, I told her what I wanted her to do for assessments. It was a very long meeting at the beginning of the year, and now she's just completing all of it and submitting all of her work, and I mark it. So individualized is much different. Individualized would be much more driven by the family as well. So one of the things is that that individualized family for environmental studies, they were very passionate about it. They had a lot of their own knowledge about the course in the family, and they found some resources that they wanted to use, and they came into me, they said, hey, can we do this? I said, yeah, sounds good. So another thing that I want families to know is that all of our core courses are available online or hybrid individualized. There's always going to be a curriculum-based option. There's not always all three. So there's not always an online, hybrid, and individualized option. Usually there will be an online and a hybrid, or an online and an individualized option. So for my hybrid courses, so in my individualized, that one didn't actually even have a specific curriculum that I recommended. They brought some curriculum, but I teach another individualized course that is in Moodle, and it's called Geology 12. And for this course, I do have a recommended curriculum. And for this one, the recommended curriculum is Earth Science. So it's a pretty fairly affordable book, and you order it online. So it's an e-textbook. And if you've never seen what an e-textbook looks like, it looks like this. I'll show you as I jump into it. So if I go continue reading. Here we go. Oh, let's go to the table of contents. So you can jump into any chapter that you want. You can skim around and read through it. I really, really enjoy the pictures and the easeability of getting through areas. It does actually feel like a textbook, but this is an online version. Students are also able to order this paper-based if they want it. So this is another individualized course, and they work through not actually even all the chapters in here. For my course, they have to do units 1, 2, 3, and 5. Yeah, they didn't have to take meteorology or astronomy for my course. That's for a different course. Okay, so that's what an individualized course looks like. Now, the last one that I want to show you is hybrid. Oh yeah, synchronous too. So hybrid and synchronous courses. So my hybrid course is, I've got another Math 10 course. And maybe I'll show Apprenticeship Math 12, because this is a fun one. So Apprenticeship Math 12 hybrid course involves an online and a segment that's in a workbook. So students will need these two workbooks called MathWorks 11 and MathWorks 12. So they get them. I have the PDF version of them. So if I go to my PDF, I'll show you what they look like. Here's what one looks like. So this is the book. It's a very, very long PDF, but it goes through math problems, and students are able to, students actually buy this book, so it's in paper, and they work through it. But the reason why mine is called the hybrid course is because although they do have a textbook and they actually work through, well, they're workbooks, but they work through the workbooks, there also is projects on the course that I created. So they have to use Moodle in order to complete the course. So they complete certain work in their own workbook, and then they have to complete the campground project that I made. So this is a little bit different, and there's also some different projects they have to do in order to look into a specific field in the future. and they have to do a big inquiry project at the end, which is kind of fun. So just to go back, online course, video-based, hybrid, and individualized are usually textbook-based, but individualized could also, you're going to be creating an SLP with the teacher, and you can use any resources that you come to the table with, and you would just collaborate with the teacher in order to make sure it checks off all of the curriculum. One thing that's tricky in hybrid and individualized courses, coming from the K-9 program, is that in the K-9 program, there's a lot of curriculum that focuses on US. I mean, if we're being honest, lots of the best curriculum comes from the US. So in the high school program, we have like much more Canadian focused curriculum and courses. So it does get a little bit harder to match perfectly the US curriculums with our courses. That's especially true for social studies, and with math. In the States, they do a different system of math. So just know that all of our course specialists, whenever you're curious about whether a curriculum is going to work or not, you can talk to that course specialist, ask them if they know the curriculum. You can meet with them over Zoom to chat it through and then go from there. So our last thing is synchronous courses. Synchronous courses are another thing that I want to go through. And synchronous courses are unique. So synchronous courses are online courses where we meet every single week. It's really fun. So I think, maybe I won't jump into that yet, but we have a schedule and I'll show it to you. But I teach 2 courses, Life Sciences 11 and Workplace Math 11, online synchronous. And so what ends up happening is students will jump into my online Zoom room once a week for this course on Mondays from 2 till 3. It's an hour long. You get one-to-one contact with the teachers every week, which is really great because if you're struggling with something or if you just want help with something, you're able to get it every single week. So there's also the chance for just a really great relationship. I know all of my students really well in each one of my courses because I see them every week. We're able to chat. They know what's going on with my life. And lots of them feel comfortable sharing with me what's happening in their life. So if you have social butterflies in your family, I highly recommend the online synchronous courses. And even those that are introverted, I still recommend it. You can turn your Zoom video off and just chat through the chat function rather than talking out loud. And it totally is great. What we've noticed about these online synchronous courses, so again, these are the online version of the courses. So we don't, I think there might be 1 or 2 hybrid synchronous courses, but the ones that we're running continuously every year are the online synchronous. So even if you're nervous about taking an online course, an online synchronous course would be great. There's a class schedule that we make at the beginning of the year, and students know where we're at every week. So even if you miss a week, you can stay on track and go from there. But it is the online version of the course where we've got lessons and their videos and stuff like that. So I personally love teaching my online synchronous courses the most, simply because I'm like the most extroverted person that you'll ever meet, most likely. So I really like the chance to be face-to-face with my students. I was mentioning success rates, and compared to my regular online course, I probably have at least double the success, maybe even like 2.5 to 3 times the success rate. And the biggest thing is that it's really hard for students to fall behind in an online synchronous course without the teacher noticing. In a regular online course, a teacher might have lots and lots of students, and when a student falls behind, they might not notice right away. But in an online synchronous course, because we're meeting every week, we take attendance when a student misses a bunch of courses or a bunch of classes in a row. We notice and we contact home. So we're finding that these online synchronous courses are just so great, and I cannot recommend them enough as you think about some courses next year. I would definitely, in the online synchronous courses, recommend them for students who really struggle with that subject, and you just don't want to, you want to have your best chances of getting through. So maybe science is your most difficult subject, or English is your most difficult subject, or math. Jump into the online synchronous course and you're going to have the most support. On the flip side, if a course is your absolute favorite, like let's say you just absolutely love English, the online synchronous course, you get to meet with your teacher every week, and talk, nerdy English stuff, and this book, that book, and all those types of things. So I would also recommend taking them if that is your absolute favorite course. And the only thing, here is the one thing about the online synchronous course that will be the deciding factor, is they are a linear course. So our online synchronous courses only run from September to June. So you start at the beginning of the year. I think the first class is like end of September or early October, something like that. I think it's probably late September. But you start in September and you go throughout the course all the way to the end in June. And there's no first semester or second semester with an online synchronous course. So some students like to group that in pacing. And so we'll get there later. We'll talk about pacing, and I think on the next, in credits and transcripts, we'll talk about that. So the next thing, parent and student and teacher responsibilities. All right. So one of the biggest things that I have to say when it comes to specifically parents. So if you're the student watching this video right now and your parent left and they're not watching right now, go get them. This is a specific part of the video that parents really, really, really need to understand in the grad program. Hopefully that you're back. Get your parents. And parents who are watching, there is a terrible tendency that as soon as a student hits high school, they are responsible enough to do everything on their own, and you don't need to check in on them. And that could not be further from the truth. Students need just as much check-in, oversight, and support from you as a parent in the high school program. I could not stress that enough. When families leave it up to their students, it almost always leads to falling behind in a schedule, to miscommunications with teachers, just so many different things. And as a grad advisor, I have had to make countless phone calls to families saying, hey, I noticed that you've fallen behind in your course. How's it going? The parent doesn't know, they haven't been checking, and it's not that good. So students, it's also your responsibility to tell your parents that you're struggling. It's your responsibility to tell your teacher that you're struggling. The one thing that I can communicate as a teacher personally, and in talking with other teachers, we want you to succeed 100%. We just don't know if you're struggling if you don't tell us. So you might have an average of 90% in the course, but you're struggling so hard because maybe you really hold that high bar to yourself, and if you're not confident that you're going to get it, you just stop and you pause and you fall behind. Or it's really easy to close your tab and jump into a YouTube video, or jump onto social media, open up a Netflix tab. I know that as an online teacher myself, of course I fall into that trap as well. Procrastinating is so much fun. So I hear you. One of the websites I do want to take you to really quickly is SOPHIE. So this is on my third slide with different websites that we use. But SOPHIE is a encyclopedia essentially for families, and it houses all of our information for families. I'm not logged in, so if I log in, I get teacher access, and there's a ton of other things that are in SOPHIE for me as a teacher. But information for families, there's a bunch of great stuff in here for families to read about. General information, there's a huge section for the grad program. So you can definitely jump into here. You can look at different little pages. One of the things I wanted to quickly show you is the synchronous courses. So I talked about the synchronous courses before. There's a little write-up about them here, and you can take a look at that and see about it. And I think there's also, I thought there was a, I don't know, oh, transitioning from grade 9. Look at this. Here's a nice little page that helps you. But this video is going to be a lot longer, and it's going to help you a lot more. Okay. I wanted to find out where the synchronous, I'll just quickly log in. And I will find the synchronous schedule, just so you can take a look at the way it's set up. Synchronous cohorts. Here's the schedule for this year. You can see synchronous starts in grade 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. But in high school, you can see all the different courses, and none of them overlap. So we're not allowed to have overlapping times because students can take all online synchronous courses if they wanted to. I don't necessarily recommend taking every single course online synchronous. It's a lot of Zoom in a week, in addition to having to do that. But I mean, if you love it, that's totally fine, and that's up to you. But I'm teaching in grade 11. I'm teaching the Life Science 11 and Workplace Math 11 back to back on Mondays, and I just really like that. All of our core courses you will see are available in synchronous. So we have Humanities, which I'll talk about later, but we've got Life Sciences, that's a science, math, pre-calculus, so like harder math, English, there's French, social studies, career life education, and career life connections, depending on which one you need. There's Spanish. There's a lot of different online synchronous courses that we offer. In grade 10, it's the same thing, all of our core courses. And then in grade 12, it was our first year offering grade 12 online synchronous courses, and they did go really, really good. So there was English 12, French 12, Spanish 12, career life connections, and even a genocide study 12 course. Because genocide studies 12 is a social studies credit, and it's quite intense. So we offered it online synchronous so that there'd be a teacher going through all of these just kind of heavy ideas. Okay, so I'm going to log back out and then go into information for families. Okay, I'm pretty sure, well, it might be in general information. No, I think it is. I wonder if it's actually in policies. In policies, there's a lot of different things that you can jump into and learn about. Yeah, let me see. I wonder, I think I've got a SOPHIE page booked. Maybe not. Okay, well, I'm not going to jump into that anymore then. Just note that, us as teachers, it's our job to get you through the course. But students, you have to do the work, and parents, you have to make sure that they're doing the work. So that's just the main thing I wanted to mention in this page. All right, let's jump into slide 2. This is a little bit more fun. We got to talk about credits, transcript, and setting up grade 10, 11, and 12. Okay. So there's going to be a lot of things to talk about here. I'm going to be jumping through a lot of different pages to show you, but let us start with a BCeID. So in our grad program page, so this is the grad program page, and this is where I hope that you spend a lot of time in grade 10 to 12. It is a web page only for grade 10 to 12 grads, so it's really important. I'm almost wondering if I should jump to slide 3 and show you all the websites before going. No, I'll take my time. Okay, so I want to go to transcripts. All right. So school transcripts, you can find out how you did in all of your courses. And the best thing that you can do as a student in grade 10 to 12 is register for a BCeID. That way you can access your transcript at any time, anywhere. It is a government website. So I believe BCeID. You have to go onto their website. You're a current student. Although, hold on. Actually, I don't think you need order transcripts. I don't think you need to order transcripts. I think you need to. Oh, maybe it is there. So what you'll need, you need your personal education number, which is in Encom. So if you do not know what your personal education number is, you can contact me. You need an email address, date of birth, legal name, and then you must register for a basic BCeID account. So that's what you want to do. You want to register for a basic BCeID. And once you have your registered for a basic BCeID, then you're able to log in and view your transcript in real time, anytime. Why that's amazing is because you can be tracking how you're doing as you go through. If you're a grade 10 student, or if you're a grade 9 student right now, and you register for a BCeID and you go and log in, there's not going to be anything on your transcript yet. It's going to say empty, void, I don't know, error, because until you've completed a grade 10 course, your transcript will be empty. But as you're going through grade 10, 11, and 12, logging into your BCeID and viewing your transcript is going to be super, super helpful, super, super important. And having access to, just making sure that you're graduating in the right path is really important. So that is number 1, BCeID. Now, accessing your transcript is one thing, but building your transcript is another. So now we need to talk about courses, required courses, all those types of things. And the best thing for this is I like to go into my GA stuff. I'm going to open up a couple different things. I'm going to open up this, which we won't need quite yet. And then I will open up the course planner. Now, let me see this course planner. I'm just going to make sure that the course planner is pretty similar to the one in SOPHIE. I thought it was in here. I wonder if I have it bookmarked again. Nope. Course challenges. No. No, I don't know if I do have it. Okay. I actually just think maybe isn't teacher. No, I'm not going to worry about it. This is what it looks like. I'm just going to use this one. I have a Google Drive version as well that I could probably open. It is in grad advising. Course planner for families. I think these are literally identical. Yeah. Okay. So these are identical. All right. I think I'm going to use Microsoft Word so I can just zoom in a little bit. All right. So this is what we use to track a student's a student's credits. The good news for families is that we're actually on the docket. Our teaching, or sorry, our tech staff are going to be building this into Encom, which will be amazing. But for right now, we keep track of it on our own. And there are required BC ministry courses. There are 52 credits. In order to graduate, you need a total of 80 credits. 80 credits works out to 20 courses because each course is worth 4 credits, except for a specific number of courses, which are English 10. English 10 courses count for 2 credits each. That's something to be wary of. And Christian studies courses now are 2 credit courses unless they are wrapped together in one of our programs like Humanities or Adventure Discipleship. I'll be talking about those in a second. So, required courses, I'm just going to highlight, let's go like this. So these I will highlight, let's do it in like let's highlight in like this color. Then let's highlight these 4 in like this color. And then let's highlight these in like this color. Here we go. So the reason that I'm doing this is because I want to show you how courses or how the grad program works in order to meet your 80 total credits in order to graduate. What you are going to notice in this first section, this counts as 1 course. So there's 1 English, socials, science, math, career life educations, and PE. There are 6 required courses for grade 10. It is grade 10 ends up being the hardest year for most students because of the amount of required courses that are in it. Whereas in grade 11, there are only 4 required courses. An English 11, and then a socials 11 or 12, a science 11 or 12, and a math 11 or 12. The reason why for social science and math it says 11 or 12 is because there is a grade 12 version of social studies, of science, and of math that does not require you to take the grade 11 version. So in social studies, there is a course called Social Studies 11 that you can take, and it fulfills this requirement. But you can also take something like Genocide Study 12, which I mentioned before, History 12, Economics 12. There's a bunch of other courses at the grade 12 level, and you do not need Social Studies 11 to get into them. In Science 11, I taught Anatomy and Physiology 12. So this little bracket here is that you could actually take a Science 12 and skip over a Science 11. Same goes for math. For math, there's 1 course, the course that I actually showed you as my hybrid example, Apprenticeship Math 12. You can take Apprenticeship Math 12 after completing Workplace Math 10. Workplace Math 10 is the choice you have to make in grade 10, which we'll talk about in a second. But at the Mathematics 11 or 12 level, once you finish Workplace Math 10, you can either take Workplace Math 11 or Apprenticeship Math 12. So technically, you have the possibility of taking a grade 12 course for math rather than 11. So all 3 of these have that option. You must complete English 11. English is the 1 course that you need the grade 10, 11, and 12 version to graduate. You cannot skip out on English. In fact, right now, I will tell you, your English course is your most important course that you will take in high school. Simply because no matter how you graduate, you need English all the way to grade 12. So if you're ever deciding, oh, I'm dying, which course should I work on? English. English is so important. So now let's take a look at these grade 10 courses. So we have these 6 required courses. And in addition, you might want to take Christian Studies 10. You might want to take a fun elective like photography 10 or PE, or no, I guess PE 10 is already a required course. Woodworking 10, a music 10 course, like some sort of fun elective. And then you're at 8 courses and it's crazy. The thing that you need to realize about the grad program that is simply very different from the K-9 program is that you do not need to do all courses the way that they are listed. So what's interesting about grade 10, if you take a look, let's say you do not like science. Science is a course that is just hard. You don't like it. You want to avoid it at all costs. In grade 10, you could skip science 10. You could not take it. You could instead take it in grade 11. And then in grade 12, you could take a science 11 or 12, and then you would have all of the science credits that you need. You only need 2 years of science credits to graduate. Same goes for socials, and same goes for math. Unless you are going into a program that requires more, that is the bare minimum, and you can hit the bare minimum and be totally fine. English, like I said before, is the one that is not like that. You really need English 10, 11, and 12. So I never ever suggest that a student skip out on English 10. It's just something that you would always need to look at in the future. So let's dive in a little bit deeper. I want to quickly mention something about grade 12. This is something that I want to quickly reiterate because it's just so important. In grade 12, all students must take English Studies 12. That's one grade 12 course. They also must take Career Life Connections. There are 2 career courses. One's in grade 10, Career Life Education. And then there's another one in grade 12, Career Life Connection. It's annoying because they are not alphabetically in order. So you just have to remember that education comes first and then the connections come second. Okay? So education is in grade 10, Career Life Connections is grade 12. Those are 2 required courses. Career Life Connections does not count as a grade 12 course, but it's supposed to be done in grade 12. Gotta love how confusing that is. The reason why I want to mention this is because in order to graduate, of the 80 credits for graduating, at least 16 credits must be at the grade 12 level. And that must include a grade 12 English. So no matter what, students actually do need to take 4 grade 12 courses, but they can be any 4 grade 12 courses plus English Studies 12. What that means is you get 3 choices for grade 12 courses, and I can help you choose really easy ones if you need. Most students don't struggle with finding it because there's easy courses like work experience if you have a job. There's 2 work experience 12 courses that you can take, plus English 12, and then you only need 1 other grade 12 course. So it's not that scary, but I just want you to know that you need to take 4 grade 12 courses, and Career Life Connection does not count as one of them. That is a separate course. Okay? Other things for requirements here, as we have a couple quick notes. If you are planning to go into a university in BC, there are a lot of them that require a second language 11. Things like French, Spanish, or German. Here at Heritage, we do not offer every single language. I know some families speak Russian at home. I know some families, there's just a number of different languages that students can speak at home. I think I had a student that spoke Latin and Italian. Unfortunately, we don't offer all of them. I believe the ones that we offer are French, Spanish, German, ASL, and Mandarin. So I think we offer 5 second language courses. And I would say these these second language courses, so if you're thinking about taking one of them, French, Spanish, German, etc., those are very important if you're going to university and getting a Bachelor of Arts. So if you're wanting to study English or what are fun English, like philosophy, psychology, all those types of things, those are all going to require a second language. So just make sure that you remember that. Daily physical activity, this used to be a requirement. I think that this actually is taken out now, which is odd because this is from the 2019-2020. I was trying to find the new one. So we actually don't need to do that, but we have 3 new assessments. So there's actually a new one. Let me go and see if I can put one in here underneath. Because you guys are going to be at the age where there is now literacy 12. There are 3 assessments. 2 of them you do in grade 10, and then 1 of them you do in grade 12. And they are not for credits. You simply have to complete them. And as far as I know, with these requirements, to graduate, you only have to write them. Lots of families ask me if there is a specific score they need to get on the numeracy assessment to get into university. And right now, I only know of select programs in the Lower Mainland. So if you're going to a university here in the interior, so the major university that I oversee is UBCO. That's where I went to university. I have extensive knowledge on their programming and their courses and their campus and everything. And they do not have any current requirements for what you need to take in, or like a grade that you need to get. Thompson River University is also another one that is in Kamloops that I've gotten fairly familiar with because there's been a couple students who've gone there. Quite competitive there. But if you're planning to go into a science or competitive program in the Lower Mainland, you do need to get a numeracy score of 3. I believe that's what you need. So we would look at that together if that's specifically what you're looking for. But for everyone else, you just need to write these assessments. So I'm going to take a quick second. This is actually on my agenda, I think this is later. Yeah, it's on my last slide. So before I get too carried away, I think I will just stop and talk about the assessments. So assessments. On our grad program page, which we'll be going to all the time, there's a section under resources for provincial assessments. All right. You'll be hitting this drop-down menu for resources all the time. You register for the assessments. Communication is always sent from Chelsea and Trish. So they will send you emails. And we actually have another guy. Is he here? No, but we just hired a new guy, Gordon Robidoux. And you'll probably get emails from him. He is the one who's currently in charge of scheduling all of your assessments. Because you guys live all over the interior, he schedules them for you and tells you where you're going to be writing it and where you're going to be writing it. So he'll have all the timing and everything. One of the things that you should know is that with COVID, things were changed because there was assessments that got canceled. But the government communicated to us that they want a student's first attempt for the numeracy and literacy to be done in grade 10. Okay, so if you're in grade 10, that's when you write those assessments. However, you're able to write them multiple times. So let's say you are wanting to get into a competitive program, you only get a 2 on your numeracy assessment in grade 10, you can take it again in grade 11, and you can take it again in grade 12, and you could get a higher mark. You could find that score of 3. So that's something just to be aware of, that you do need to write these. It is required for graduation. These assessments are completely separate from our courses. So the numeracy assessment is not associated with Math 10, and the literacy assessment is not associated with with English 10. We're working on having information for students, but I think you can actually click and you can go to the numeracy assessment website from like the Government of BC website, and you can learn about the numeracy assessment and what it's all about. And you can watch these videos. I've actually watched them because this is not a math assessment. Numeracy, they are looking at something completely different. It's a lot of problem solving. It's a lot of logic. So going through, you definitely have to do math calculations, but if you take a look at some of the samples, you'll see how different it is. I remember writing one myself, and I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Like, I actually find it kind of fun as a teacher to do the assessment, but I'm a teacher, so students do not say the same thing. You can search for the literacy assessment 10 here too, and learn all about what this is, and find out about the type of things that you'll have to be writing and all that kind of stuff. So this is the information about assessments. When you look at a student's transcript, once they've been completed, they'll show up at the bottom, and you'll be good. So all three of these have to be checked off by the time you're in grade 12. And the numeracy assessment and the literacy assessment have to be done in grade 10. So you'll want to schedule that. When do these things happen? I believe that the numeracy and literacy assessments, I think all assessments happen multiple times throughout the year. I believe there's one in November. There's one in January. There's one in April, and there's one in June, something like that. I think there's like 4 different times throughout the year that you can write these. So it's just an important thing to note. Okay, let's go back up to grade 10. So one of the things that I wanted to reiterate is that although all 6 of these, 7 if you can count Christian Studies 10, which we'll talk about after, all 7 of these courses do not have to be completed in grade 10. Okay, they can be if you'd like, but you could postpone some of the courses. I would not recommend postponing career life education because it actually is designed to help students think ahead to what career they might be, gunning for. You do lots of like personality tests, and you do strength finders and things like that to try to pinpoint what you're good at, and then meshing that with what God's called you to do. And so the career life education course is definitely a course I recommend taking in grade 10. PE 10 could be a course that you postpone into a later grade, or socials, science, or math if you're scared about them. Another thing to note, 80 credits is equal to 20 courses, like I told you. There are 3 years in high school. So technically, you could do 7 courses one year, plus 7 courses another year, plus 6 courses the last year, and you would get your 20 courses. Okay. On the flip side, you could do 8 courses in grade 10, 8 courses in grade 11, and then 1 semester, 4 courses in grade 12, and get your 20 credits. You could be crazy and take 10 courses in grade 10 and 10 courses in grade 11 and finish early. That's pretty crazy. On the flip side, you can take 5 courses in grade 10, 5 courses in grade 11, 5 courses in grade 12, and come back for a second year of grade 12 and finish your 20 courses that way. There's a lot of different ways that we can schedule all of these courses. I want to quickly show you some example schedules. Okay. So I've written in here a schedule example for math, science, English, socials, Christian studies, PE, career life education, and 1 additional elective. I made a note here that only 7 courses are required, so you don't have to think about taking 8. I just used 8 courses as an example. If you're going to a campus school, most often they will have an 8-course schedule for every year, and you'll end up graduating with extra credits. If you are aiming, I'm going to go back to my course course planner here again. I'm going to take away this. Oops, that's not what to do. I'm going to change this back so that it's all white again. And if you are planning to get into an engineering program, you will need more than 80 credits in order to get in. Getting pre-calculus 12, calculus 12, things like physics 11 and 12, and maybe chemistry 11 and 12. To get into competitive university programs, you are going to be going above and beyond this 80 credits. And you'll most likely be taking 8 courses each year, 8, 8, and 8, for a total, of more courses than you need. But by getting 24 courses under your belt rather than 20, you're going to get the courses that are required for the program that you went into. And I know that's what I did when I was graduating. I took 8 courses, grade 10, 11, and 12, and got into my science program. Okay, so let me talk about one big thing for grade 10 families. The only choice that you need to make in grade 10 is English and math. Okay, I'm going to talk about English separately in a few minutes because there's a whole breakdown of English. But in math, you have to choose between either foundations of math and pre-calculus or workplace math. Okay, if you want to have every door open for post-secondary, you're going to want to go down the foundations of pre-calculus. And so we call this FMP math. So you're definitely going to want to go down this route. Even if you think it's going to be a real struggle, it's probably going to be worth it in the end. But workplace math is if you're not planning to go into highly academic courses in the future, maybe you're wanting to go into trades, or maybe you want to go to university, but you only want to go to university in an arts degree, you are not going to need pre-calculus math in the future. And in math, it branches. So in grade 10, there's 2 different options, but in grade 11, there's 3. So foundations of math splits into the highest level is pre-calculus 11 and pre-calculus 12. The middle level is foundations of math 11 and foundations of math 12. And then the lowest level I had mentioned before was workplace math 10. And then after that, either workplace math 11 or apprenticeship math 12. And those will lead to different programs. So let me take a look. I'm going to walk you through some options. And I'll talk about how I do not recommend this. So you could take your core courses and take them online synchronous. Maybe you want to jump into some of those and have online Zoom sessions with your teachers every week. These would run from September to June. So linear is September to June. A first semester course would be September to January, the first 4 months. And then second semester would be February to June. And so in this example, I did Christian Studies and PE first semester with Career Life Education and an elective in second semester. It really depends on the family. I'm going to scroll down to this. I thought I had maybe I didn't. Oh yeah, okay, I was looking at option 2. Option 1 is to split up your math and science. You could do math and science together in first semester and then English and social second semester, or you could choose to pair them. So you could do like math and English first semester and science and social second semester. And then maybe it makes more sense to do Christian Studies linear from September to June because your family does devotions and your family does Bible studies and there's youth group and all that kind of stuff throughout the year. So maybe you want to keep that at linear. PE might make more sense linear if you're working, if you've got different activities that you do throughout the year for that. I will say that PE is, it's now called physical and health education. So PE is not just sports and activity. There is a very large part on the health component now, and learning about making healthy choices in lots of different areas of your life. And then this option, career life education, and that also that music elective would all be linear. I would say that the most popular options are these two. Most oftentimes, students will have half of their courses linear and then half of their courses first and second semester. This way, they just have certain things. I would say that this used to be the most popular option where they would have their core courses split first and second semester and then have their the rest of their courses linear. And then last year, with the addition of our online synchronous courses, they were quite popular. So there was a lot of families that enrolled in a few online synchronous courses and then split up their other schedules into first and second semester. Option 3, you can split a bunch, like everything, into first and second semester. Okay. When you see things in first and second semester, you cannot do online synchronous. So online synchronous are only available in these linear options. And if you remember, the online synchronous courses were all of our core courses plus second languages. So like there was French and there was Spanish. And there was career life education that you could do online synchronous. So all of those courses have the ability to do that. But there's definitely a large portion of families that like doing everything in chunks. So they'll take their Christian studies, math, science, PE, do that all first semester, and then they'll have like 4 courses they're working on. They only pick at those at once, and then they finish them all at the end of January, and they start their next batch. I'll talk about pros and cons really quickly right now. If you do courses first and second semester, you only will ever have 4 courses on your list. Like you'll only have math, science, Christian studies, and PE in this way at the same time. Then those are done, and you don't have to think about them anymore. They're gone. In one of these options, you are working on 6 courses at a time because you've got 2 in first semester plus these 4 linear, and you've got the 2 in second semester. I will tell you that you'll have double the amount of work in the first and second semester courses as compared to the online synchronous courses. Like when I'm working in the online synchronous courses with my students, we are doing a lot of the work together. There's not as much homework. There's much more homework in some of these other programs that have first and second semester. Okay, there is a very large portion of K-9 families that are used to doing everything linear. You sit around the table and everyone does everything together. It's like we're going to do a little bit of English and then a little bit of science and then a little bit of math and a little bit of social studies and a little bit of PE, and all of them are linear. This is, I'm not going to say that you're not allowed to do it because obviously you are, but this is the method that I do not recommend personally. I've only seen it succeed in a small number of families, and the small number of families that do it really well are families that have multiple students in the family. Like maybe there's 4 siblings, and they're all doing all of their homework together at the table with a very structured schedule. If that is your family, totally, that's fine to continue doing that into high school. You could choose to do that. You could choose to do that as online synchronous courses and linear courses. You could choose however you'd like. But other than some of those very particular families, this one just does not seem to have the same success rate. So I recommend one of options 1, 2, and 3. Another thing that I forgot to mention is if you're going to university and you're wanting to go into one of those arts programs, I have here listed like a second language. So I would probably recommend taking a second language grade 10 if you can fit it into your schedule, and maybe putting something else off. The reason why I recommend this, just going back to required versus elective courses, if you have done grade 9 grade 9 French, but you're looking at your grade 10 schedule and you're going, oh my goodness, I've got all of these required courses that I have to take. I'm not going to be able to fit in French. I'd recommend putting one of your required grade 10 courses on hold for the year, put it into the next year, like PE or something, and taking French, because if you've taken French 9, it's probably fresh in your brain, and then you can do French 10 and French 11 in grade 10 and grade 11. You could potentially even take French 12. So if you've been following a second language for a while, I do recommend fitting it into your schedule somehow and just putting something off in grade 10. Okay. That's kind of it that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in regards to scheduling. Now we need to talk about English 10, 11, and 12, to be honest. So English, they did a really wonky thing, the Ministry of Education. I can only describe it as like the wonkiest. So I'm going to log into my thing here. I need to go to English options. English, is it English 12 that I have to look at? English language arts options in grade 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so English is easy in K to 9. It's just English. In grade 10, 11, and 12, they made it really awkward. But I'll go slowly. In grade 10, they created 2 credit options. Okay, there are 5 options: composition, creative writing, literary studies, new media, and spoken language. We do also have a couple 4-credit options if you want to do the online synchronous course, or if you want to do one of our double up. I'm going to actually just open that here for you. It is in, where is it? Oh, I think it actually has a separate website for it now. I wonder if it's on the HCOS page. That's okay. I'll talk about it in a second. Okay, so let me go back to my English options. So in English, you will have the ability to choose 2 of the 2 credit options, or one of the dual credit options that we've created. So because there are 5 options, there are a lot of combinations that you could make in order to build an online course. At Heritage, we created the Composition and Literary Studies online combo. So you take them both as an online course, they blend into each other, and it's a 4-credit course. And that same goes for the online synchronous course. You do the Composition and Literary Studies combo. If you're wanting to go to the individualized route, you get to choose any 2 of these 5, and they're great. There is one teacher that oversees all of English 10. Her name is Sarah Laurie. Bless her heart. She is absolutely amazing. I'll show you who she is. Have her face. There she is. Sarah Laurie oversees all of English 10. She's our master. She will meet with you. She'll go through all the different options. She'll go over curriculum, and she is the one who will get you through that course. So, grade 10, there are 5 options, and you choose 2 of them. If you're doing the online option, it's nice. It's already chosen for you. Okay, you can see some examples here on the side where Sarah's strong writing skills and has aspirations to explore journalism when she graduates. She'd like to focus on courses that help her enhance her writing. Because she needs 4 credits to satisfy graduation credits, she's going to take composition and creative writing. She's going to take both of those written options. If you're the opposite, if you are like, nope, I do not want to do that, you would obviously take something different, like maybe literary studies and new media or spoken language. So in this example, it says Jonas enjoys taking online courses and doesn't want to have to concern himself with taking 2 separate courses. He'll enroll in the Composition 10 and Literary Studies 10 combined online course, which satisfies all 4 required credits. So it's important to note that you need 4 credits at the grade 10 level, and you need to take 2 of these different little segments. So in the individualized, you choose 2. and the online, they're lumped together. Okay, so now it gets more awkward because in grade 11, all 5 of those options are available again. So you'll see composition, creative writing, literary studies, new media, and spoken language. But now you only choose one of them, and they are a 4-credit option. Okay, right now, because again, we had to choose only one, only the literary studies is available online. So if you like online, you want to take your courses online. If you want to do the online synchronous course, it's going to be literary studies. That's the only one. It'll be reading cool novels. Dave Laird teaches it. It's cool. So that is how English 11 works. So English 10, choose 2, 4 credits. English 11, choose 1. What I would say at this point, though, is if you have a student who absolutely loves English, it is like their jam. With the creation of all these extra English courses, you now have the capability of taking additional electives in English. So you could take literary studies, and that's your required 4 credits, but you could also take creative writing as an additional 4-credit course for fun. Okay, so before there was only English 10, English 11, English 12. Now they've decided to add all these extra ones, which is great, but only one of them is required. Okay, so English 12. All right, so they made it super weird. In English 12, every single grade 12 student needs to take a course called English Studies 12. That is the requirement. Every single person in BC needs to take it to graduate, no matter what. We do not offer the First People's English 12 course. We only offer the English Studies 12 course at this time. So that is the required course that everyone can take. But like I mentioned for grade 11, if you've got a student who just absolutely loves English 12, like English, and wants to do additional courses, they could take an additional course like Composition 12, Creative Writing 12, Literary Studies 12, but that does not fulfill the graduation requirement. You need to take English Studies 12. However, let's go back. In grade 12, you need to take at least 16 credits at the grade 12 level, and one of them has to be English Studies 12, but you could take Creative Writing 12 as an elective, which would be a grade 12 course. So this isn't super pertinent to right now because obviously grade 12 and grade 11 are down the road, but I really want you guys to be planning out from here, from grade 10 all the way to grade 12 now as best as you can. Let's get that sorted and let's get that figured out. Okay. So hopefully I've kind of helped you figure out English a little bit. Now I get to talk to you about Christian Studies. So Christian Studies is another course that we offer, and they are now in 2 credit modules. Every grade has 2 credit modules. In order to get our HCOS certificate, 8 credits must be. Make this a little bit smaller so it fits on one page or one line. So we have a HCOS certificate. If you're planning to go to Bible school after you graduate, we recommend aiming to get the HCOS certificate. This shows that you've completed Christian Studies in high school, and it's just a little special novelty as you graduate. It is not required to graduate. However, I will always strongly recommend it whenever I chat with families. But no, it's not required. I will tell you again, though, if you take Christian Studies 12, if you take two of these modules for 4 credits, it will count as grade 12 credits towards graduating. So remember, you need to take 16 grade 12 credits to graduate. Okay, so what does Christian Studies look like now? Oh my goodness, that's probably the most exciting thing. So what it looks like is, I'm going to take you to our course library for a second, which I'll bring you here in a few minutes. But if I go to here, I'm just going to quickly show you all the different Christian Studies courses we now have. And honestly, we just like built them. We're still tweaking them. Long story there. But we've got Christian studies, becoming a people of promise, discovering the need for a savior, discovering who you are, exploring history, the Bible, and evidence for Christ, exploring science, philosophy, and faith, getting to know Paul, learning to lead like Jesus, walking with those who've gone before, wrestling with what's right, Humanities 10, we'll talk about that after, Bible, apologetics, and theology, leadership and service, our adventure discipleship program, and then spiritual formation and practice. So these last three are individualized courses. You can see they're type individualized. And then the ones before are online. And then the ones that are in the humanities and adventure discipleship, some of them are hybrid. This is like hybrid synchronous, which I'll talk about. But those are really cool. Adventure discipleship and humanities are multiple courses, which I wonder if there is a link to his. No, there's not. Okay, I'm just gonna look at one thing really quickly because do I have? No, okay, that's fine. So anyway, all these Christian studies courses, they are small bite-sized chunks of Christian studies, and they are available, you'll see, at the grade 10, 11, and 12 level. So like I said, some of these are going to get tweaked between now and when you're actually selecting them for September, because there is a certain amount of this that they are still developing. But let's say you're going through and there's a course for getting to know Paul. So Paul, the best-selling author of all time. He wrote most of the New Testament, and it's been translated into like every language in the world. You could take Christian Studies, Getting to Know Paul in grade 10 and grade 12 if you wanted, and it would just be a much more in-depth look. But essentially, you can choose different options, and some of them build into each other. So discovering who you are and discovering the need for a savior are courses that are linked. Exploring history and exploring science, these two are kind of tagged together. So because there are 2 credit modules, you could take these both in grade 10 and like both in grade 11, let's say, depending on how you want to, and you could take another one in grade 12. But in order to graduate and get the Heritage Certificate, you just need to make sure that you take 8 credits altogether. So you could take 4 credits in grade 10, 4 credits in grade 11, and you're done. Or you could take 4 credits in grade 11 and 4 credits in grade 12 and be done. Or you could take 2 credits, 2 credits, and 4 credits. However you get that together, 8 credits is the requirement for getting our HCOS certificate. And I'm going to just plug, these courses are awesome. They're taught by amazing teachers that we have on board, and they're bite-sized. So in the past, our Christian studies were 4 credit courses, and some students would get bogged down with all the work that was required for a course. So we heard the feedback, we made them smaller, hopefully a little bit more engaging, and from this year's feedback, it's been really positive. So that's awesome. All right, so that is Christian studies, English, required courses. You are going to receive a BC, Dogwood planner, this program planner, and you'll be able to track this yourself. You can print it off. You can take a look at it. You can, plan everything ahead. You can go down here and look at all the electives that you want to take, and you can schedule different things and all that kind of stuff. It's awesome. And it's what we use to make sure that everyone's on track. So that is this. I do want to also say, in regards to sciences and different things, I know personally that when I did my high school, in grade 11, I took chemistry 11 and chemistry 12. I took chemistry 11 in first semester and chemistry 12 in second semester. And we just focused on chemistry that year. I personally really like that model. I think it was probably better that I took all of chemistry in 1 year, and then the next year in grade 12, I took biology. I took biology 11 and 12. I think that model was better for me than it would have been taking biology 11 and chemistry 11 in grade 11, and then afterwards taking biology 12 and chemistry 12 in grade 12. Chemistry 12 and biology 12 were both really big, heavy courses. And if I would have done them both in grade 12, I don't think I would have done as well on them overall in my grades compared to having them split up and having one in grade 11 and then one in grade 12. And I did really good in both of them, I think, because I had adequate time. So that's something to consider when you're taking a look at credits for science if you're going into an upper level program. Whew. Okay. So now we got to talk about the websites. Okay, this isn't going to take me too long. I'm going to just show you all the great different places that we have as a school. So, number one, you got to have, let's go to the top. Our HCOS homepage, have it bookmarked, and hopefully you can see this. You can see my bookmarks here. So, I mean, I've got a bunch of different ones because I'm a teacher and a grad advisor, but HCOS is here, Encom is here, Moodle is here, our course library is here, our grad program page is here. There's a lot of different things that I use. So from HCOS, this is where you find a lot of great things. If I go here, does it log me into? Yeah, it does. Okay, so from here, you're going to get access. I'm going to close. I don't think I need any more of these tabs right now. No, I don't need these ones. Okay, so from here, you're able to access a lot of the important tabs. So you're able, on the top right corner here, to log in to Moodle, Encom, and Rosetta Stone if you're in second language courses. On that note, I'm going to right click and open it in a new tab. Okay. And I'm going to right click Encom and open it in a new tab. Parents, we're going to start with you. This is the important part for parents. Okay. I am going to pretend to log in as a parent into Encom. Okay. I just took a screenshot of another student. I erased all of their names so you don't know who it is. But I'm signed in as them. This is what a parent sees when they log into Encom. I'm going to move my head over on the right side here for a couple seconds. What you will notice is they have two students. They've got a grade 12 student and a grade 9 student. So this student's going to be getting an email from me right away because I am sending this video off to them. But you can see that they've re-enrolled, and you're going to see a lot of these different buttons. Okay, parents? Encom is important for a few things. Number one, at the beginning of the year, choosing your courses. You are going to want to choose the courses for each student, and that is important. So that's at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, you're going to want to make sure that you re-enroll them or not re-enroll them. That's totally fine if you plan to go back to a different school. But letting us know that you're re-enrolling is important. So if you're in grade 12, you still have to re-enroll and you have to choose graduating. That's a different thing. Report card. You're also going to be able to access the report card for your student. How are they doing? What are they up to? Etc., etc. Additional resources. This is your bling bling. How much funding do you have for curriculum? If you're taking an online course with Heritage, you get no funding for that course because all of our online courses have everything that you need. When you take an online course, you don't need curriculum. Whereas if you're taking one of those one of those hybrid or individualized courses, so I'll go back to page 1. Online and synchronous courses get no funding, but hybrid and individualized courses do. Okay, we had a very crazy funding cut. So I'm not even going to give you a number right now to tell you how much it is because it's changed so many times. So just know that in September, when you enroll into a hybrid or individualized course, you should get a number of funding. This year, there was no funding for core courses, but there was funding for elective courses. Just a whole other conversation, but if you're wanting to know how much money you can spend on curriculum, that's where you find it out, okay? If you are a brand new family and you are watching this video, parents, you need to set up their student Moodle account, okay? Students cannot do anything until their parents have set things up. So we have it set up like that because parents need to get everything started. Once the parents get everything started, then the students can do what they're doing, okay? So students, you're not really going to be logging into Encom that often. It's definitely more of a parent thing. But parents, this is again for you. You need to be checking how your kids are doing in their online progress. If you click onto this online progress button, you're going to see where they are at. You're going to see if they're on pace or you're going to see if they're behind. I mentioned in slide 1 about the parent and student and teacher responsibilities. As a parent, it is definitely your responsibility to be looking at this page. At this page and finding out if they are behind or not. Me as a grad advisor, I will also be looking at this, and I check in with my families a couple times per year to see how things are going. But if I'm checking in and it's been 3 months and no work's been done in 3 months, it's too late. Like they are so far behind, and it's just trouble. Another thing I want to just quickly mention is that there's this future term section up here that is helpful to learn. If you take a look at this family, I chose this family specifically because they already have re-enrolled for this upcoming school year. You are able to click on the future term and see the next year. So you're able to look at this grade 9 student and look at grade 10. You can also look at their past year and look at their past report cards. So you can change the date. See how it says future term here? Right now, this is looking at August 1st, 2020 to July 31st, 2021. That is the 2020-2021 school year. If you go ahead, you can look at the 2021 and 2022 school year. Real mouthful, I tell you. And if you go back a year, you could go back to the 2019, 2020 school year, and et cetera, et cetera. So Encom is really important for parents. I'm going to close that now. The next one is Moodle. So Moodle is where all of your online, hybrid, and sometimes even individualized courses take place. This is the biggest thing I run into. At the top right corner, you can see I am currently logged in. Mr. Kuchma. Parents, you have a Moodle access, and you have to set up Moodle access for your students first before they get set up. If you are a parent and your student has already taken an online course before, they already are set up in Moodle, they're good. If you're coming into grade 10, you've never taken an online course before, I know there's gonna be some of you like that. You've never logged into Moodle, and if you're a new student with Heritage, you've never logged into Moodle for sure, so you need to be setting up the Moodle access from your parents' Encom. So just to reiterate, parents, you log into Encom and you make the Moodle account for the kids. There's a place for the username and a place for the password. Okay, so kids, this is where you log in and set everything up. When you're in your course, you're going to have a scheduler that you set up. It's a self-pacing guide. You can set up the course to be first semester, second semester, or linear, or your teacher can do that. Personally, me as a teacher, I do this for all my students so that I know where they're at. So Moodle is quite straightforward. I can't actually help you guys out too much because you as the student are going to have to jump into your course yourself. I already brought you to SOPHIE. SOPHIE is our it's actually, I forget what the acronym stands for, like all the different letters, but I know that E stands for encyclopedia. So I just think of it as like the online school encyclopedia, where you can find information for families and policies. Obviously, there are so many pages to look through. It's like crazy. But if you want to go through the grad program, the general information. Those are probably good ones. Moodle, if you're trying to figure out how to Moodle, how like it works, student Moodle access, parents, this is how you set up your Moodle. You have to log in, you have to enroll a new student, you've got to create a username, make a password, and then the student will be able to log into Moodle, and then they'll be able to get going. Okay, so this is SOPHIE. The next one is the grad program. Okay, let me spend some time here because this one is really important. So the grad program page is where the grad advisors and the grad program, so Chelsea and Trish, send information. I'm sure you guys are like waning. Maybe you need to go and get like some more snacks or I don't know, some tea or coffee to get through the rest of the video. That's okay. Anyway, here's a lot of information. The front page is run by Chelsea and Trish. So anything on this page is really important. Scholarships, university entrance stuff, like lots of big stuff. And again, maybe for a grade 10, it might not be super important all the time, but for grade 11 and 12, it's really important. The resource tab is where you're going to be hanging out and clicking on things all the time. So number one, graduation ceremony. This is where you have plans for grade 12. Don't have to worry about that right now. Our plan was to have an in-person event. This is what we did last year, but we are still, COVID is just changing everything. Okay, Learning Commons. The Learning Commons website, as a K-9 family, you're probably already familiar with this. As a new family, you might not be as familiar. The Learning Commons is essentially the online school library. Okay? So the online school library, you can do so many things. The biggest things in Learning Commons is you can borrow curriculum for free, okay? But like a library, you have to return it. So if you do not want to have to pay $100 for a textbook, you can borrow it from the school, use it. You can't write a ton in it, but you can use it, write answers and stuff on separate pieces of paper, and you get it for the school year, and it's awesome. You're able to get help with citations. You can meet the awesome people that are in here. Pippa is the one who runs it, and she is like amazing. And then she has her team. Curriculum consultant Cynthia is absolutely fantastic, and Beth does all of our subscriptions. So if you ever have questions, they can assist you with all sorts of things. And then we've got other things like units. I think most of these are actually more for K-9 as you go down. But they will ship everything to you, etc. So you can take a look in here. You can find the subscriptions that you get for free if you want to find out about things. To be honest, again, most of these are probably going to be more centered around K-9, but there are other ones. I just noticed National Geographic Kids. That would probably be cool all the way from kindergarten to grade 12. So the library is a great place. The next one, learning groups. So man, so sad. Learning groups are so popular. They are in-person events that we do. And with COVID, it's been so hard. I personally have done learning groups and have done events for families, and they've been so successful. I loved it. My last event was February 15th, 2020, and I was in Kamloops, and we did an in-person event. It was great. I live in Kelowna, but I drove up to Kamloops. I came with my wife and my 3 kids and put them in the backpack and walked them around. And we did a big scavenger hunt for all of my kiddos that were in the region. They came and they had to run around town, and then we met at Starbucks afterwards once the scavenger hunt was done, and we had coffees, and I just hung out for like an hour, and all the moms and all the kids were able to ask me questions about just anything they wanted, and it was really great. So most of these learning groups are virtual this year. But as COVID restrictions lessen and lessen, learning groups are going to get more and more popular, And I will be personally inviting you out to these, and I will definitely want you to come because they're awesome. We hiked Mount Boucherie together last year at the beginning of the school year, and that was great, and all sorts of things. I already walked you to the provincial assessment page because we came here earlier, but this is a page where you have to schedule your assessments, and once they're done, so that's a nice thing. Travel. So sad, but our travel opportunities have all been halted because of COVID as well. But we had a trip that went to Europe over spring break, and it was awesome. We had a trip that went. I actually don't know about Adventure Discipleship. I wonder if it's still running. James Nelson is our guy, and I'll talk about Adventure Discipleship and Humanities in a few seconds because this is where the information for them was. So maybe I'll just open up like a new Word tab. So there is Adventure and Discipleship, and there is Humanities. So these are two. These are cross-curricular opportunities. And so Adventure Discipleship gets you Christian studies, physical, and ADST, I think even leadership credit. If I take a look at the page here, there's 14 credits, PE, Applied Skills, Christian Studies, and Leadership. Yeah. Nice. So so this is 14, so leadership credits. So 14 total credits for Adventure Discipleship. And they run a outdoor program. So there's one in, I believe, the spring and one in the summer. And you can contact me about these. But the great thing is that they roll a bunch of courses all into one. So the Christian Studies is the 4-credit option, which is nice. It's not the 2-credit modules. It's a 4-credit course. It's PE, and you can do Adventure Discipleship in grade 10, 11, or 12. In grade 10, you get your grade 10 physical education course. But in grade 11, you get Outdoor Ed 11 credit, or if you do grade 12, you get Outdoor Ed 12 credit. And it's really awesome. So Humanities, I didn't break about this beforehand, but Humanities is Christian Studies for 4 credits. It's a combo. It is English Studies 10. So it's composition and literary studies. It's also social studies 10. So for 4 credits. So this is 12 credits total with the option, with option of leadership for additional 2 credits. Okay. So currently, these are the 2 bundle programs that we offer. And the Humanities is a really popular one. Humanities is what I recommend for deep students. Students who are quite mature already, students who want to dive deep into unit topics for English and socials. There's lots of writing. Just because you're doing 3 courses at once does not mean like, oh, I'm getting like 12 credits for like 1 course worth of work. No, it is very heavy. It's very good, but it's very heavy. The students that I know so many students who've taken Humanities 10, and they say it is the best course that they've ever taken, but the hardest course. So you don't want to be falling behind. You want to make sure that you're a strong student and very diligent in order to get the most from the Humanities opportunity. But it's really great, and it's run by some of our like top teachers. If you know have heard of them, Mr. Vanny, Mr. Daly, and now they've actually hired someone to help with the Christian Studies. He's a pastor, and I can't say his last name, but it's like Al Barakowitz, something like that. It's a cool name. So those are a couple opportunities. I'm going to close this. Just that you know that there are some opportunities. But this comparative civilization program was another one that was a combo and had a minimum of 12 credits, but they had to cancel it. And so it's not running right now. Sad. Student Support Center. So if you are struggling in school, don't we all at some point? We actually have online EAs that are free to use for anyone grade 10 to grade 12. Deanna Lady is amazing, and she helps with all things literacy, and her specialty is English, science comprehension questions. So don't go to and bug her for physics, math questions. She's not going to help you with that, but question studies, socials, humanities, written assignments. And then she's also good at like executive functioning, which what that boils down to is if you just struggle with scheduling your week, Deanna can help you. If you struggle with time management, Deanna can help you. So you can book times with our EAs by clicking on their Calendly. And then their Calendly, did I click on that right? Here we go. You book 30-minute sessions, and then she has her availability throughout the week. So it's really awesome. Benjamin is the exact opposite. I worked with Benjamin as an EA for the online school back in the day, and he just became a teacher, and so he does this part-time. He was an HCOS graduate and valedictorian, so he's awesome. He has help for math, physics, chemistry, and other science. So he's like a science dude like me, but he's more on the physics side. I was like more chemistry, biology. But he's awesome, and he would be able to help you with all those types of things. So you can set up sessions with him at his Calendly as well, and you just book support blocks throughout his week, and they start at 20 minutes. So these two EAs, like even if you're still acing your courses, I still recommend seeing them. If you're falling behind, I recommend seeing them. There's never a time where I will not recommend seeing them because they're awesome. Transcripts I also brought you to, and then help videos. I'm actually this area is empty because I'm actually working on making some help videos for students in the future. Okay. Grad regions. So we all run our own pages, and so sad. You'll see a little bit about me here, but this is where I used to have all my information for events that we were hosting, and unfortunately, I just don't have them. So you can watch the Mr. Kuchma documentary. Highly recommend. It's from last year, so you'll just learn a little bit about me. Spoiler alert: I like mountain biking, and I do. As the grad advisor in the interior, I make monthly or bi-monthly, depending on what's important at the time, grad advising updates through these videos. I really like making videos. I'm a visual person, and so the grad advising updates that I give are like 5 to 10 minutes. They are not at all crazy videos like the one I'm making right now for you. But these ones are short. They just tell you the different things that are happening in September, October, November, December, et cetera, et cetera. So here's my most recent one that I posted up here. Also, if you come to this grad program page, check out, I made this funny COVID bummer video with a student, and yeah, COVID's tough. So come watch this video, and you'll see I'm sitting in the exact same spot. You can see the top corner of this painting right there in my kitchen. But here is me. This is my family, my beautiful family. I've got 4 kids so far. Up until a few days ago, I had 4 kids 4 and under. So we've got Irish twins here. Josie and Jasper are both born in April, back-to-back years, 2018, 2019. And then this little darling is Eliza, our newest addition, our little ray of sunshine. And yeah, this is our house. I built this playhouse for my kids in last like March, April, and we finished it in May during COVID. There's nothing to do, so we couldn't take our kids anywhere, so I just built this. So anyway, this is the interior page. You can go to like the island. This is where Ryan has his. The lower mainland is where Brad has his. There's a special ed for Allison to have hers. And then there's one breakfast club. So if you've gone to a campus school before ever, Most Christian schools will have a chapel, and public schools will have an assembly. It's where they all get together and hang out. The Breakfast Club is run by Mr. Vanny, who also runs the Humanities program. Wonderful guy. And every Friday at 10 a.m., I drop in for sure sometimes. It's actually tomorrow. You jump into a Zoom room, and it's a hangout and sort of like mini Christian studies chat. So you can see that the upcoming breakfast events are this is the other guy who works in the Humanities program, Brett Kretz. I don't know how you say that. It looks like a cool name though. They're talking about gospel leadership. Student leadership team is planning something. Flannery O'Connor. So they talk about different things, and it's fun. So this is something that happens every week, and there's lots of grads that jump into it, and they really enjoy it. So our online synchronous courses meet in the same way, but you don't have to be in an online synchronous course to join the Breakfast Club. You just have to pop into the Zoom room, and then you're good to go. Post-secondary information, careers and scholarship stuff is posted here. And that's probably all I'm going to talk about for the grad program page. You'll learn to love it and use it in the future in grade 10, 11, and 12. So that leads me to the course library. From our HCOS homepage, you can now click on course descriptions, which is beautiful. And you can now look at all of the courses that Heritage offers. This is a very long list, so it is much better to filter to courses that you want. Let's say you want to find out what synchronous courses are offered grade 10 to grade 12 in high school. You can see all the different synchronous courses that are available. If you're just wanting to see what's available in grade 10, then you can just choose grade 10 and you can see the different courses. You'll see Workplace Math 10 and Foundations Math 10 and Literary Studies and all these different options, okay? On the converse side, you could choose hybrid or individualized courses, or you could choose hybrid courses. If you don't want to do that, you can search for grade 10 courses that are ADST credits, like metalwork or media design or food studies or drafting, electronics and robotics, family and society. There's lots of fun elective courses here: technology, exploration, power technology, metalworks. Look at how fun these courses look. And then if you're looking for, you can look at second languages that are offered in 10 to 12, and you could see American Sign Language, French, German, Spanish, Mandarin. I think I gave you all the right I think I gave you all the right ones before. So this page, the course library, is so helpful in just looking at what is available. I'll take you to a course that I teach. So let's go to grade 11. Let's go to science. So I teach life sciences 11, and I teach the online course. So this course used to be known as biology 11, but it's changed significantly and is now largely a course about evolutionary processes. So it's kind of a bummer I teach this course. It's very much all about evolution, but I bring a biblical lens to it. So I know that evolution is certain aspects of it are very non-biblical, but it's really helpful for students going into nursing, medicine, and those types of things. So the course has major units: taxonomy, evolution, microbiology, macrobiology, and biological processes. You can look at how the assessments work and the requirements that you need for my course. So that is that. Learning Commons and learning groups, I actually already brought you to because they are on the grad program page. So I think I meant to put all of these, that doesn't matter. I was trying to like subgroup them, but if you go to the grad program page, that's where you'll find the Learning Commons and the learning groups. So that's where their websites are. Zoom. Okay, so Zoom is another thing. I highly recommend that you download the Zoom app. Okay, the Zoom app is absolutely the best. You're able to chat with people that are your contacts with. You're able to join meetings. You're able to host a meeting. You can go to your meetings. This is where my meeting link is. Here's my Zoom room number. I just find that from what I've experienced, I used to use Skype. And at the beginning of Zoom's life, it didn't have very great features. But now that they've developed a lot more, I use Zoom for everything. There might be a couple of teachers that still want to meet with you over Skype, which is okay. I don't think there's really any other meeting platform that they would use. It's usually going to be through a Zoom class or through a Skype. But Zoom is definitely the most popular, and we as teachers all use Zoom to communicate with one another. All right, so the last thing is great other stuff. So I already talked about the Student Support Center, so I actually don't need to talk about that or Provincial Assessments. I talked about those earlier. But let's talk about, this is definitely where I want to end. External credits is what I'll probably just end with because it's a little bit odd. But when you are looking at plans for the future, I will be able to grad advise and help you best if I know what you're aiming for in the future. Even if it's a foggy idea, having a post-secondary plan is super helpful for me. And maybe you're only in grade 10, so that's okay. In grade 10, the biggest thing is you have to choose which math you take. Are you going to take workplace math, or are you going to take foundations of calculus math? It's not too bad. But in grade 11 and grade 12, as the courses start becoming more and more important for which ones you take, it's good to know if you're planning to go into engineering, or if you're planning to become a mechanic, or if you're planning to start your own business, et cetera, et cetera. So having a post-secondary plan is really helpful for me. Now, this is something that I want to talk about because being in an online school, it's something that I experience quite a lot. And that's like the differences in early graduation versus extended graduation. Every student is so different in the grad program. And homeschooling can take a toll on people. We had a death in the family 2 weeks ago, my uncle and aunt, and it completely, wrecked us. We struggled for just like days coming to terms with it. It just didn't seem real, and my online work completely stopped. I didn't reply to emails. I didn't mark anything, and that was February 15th. That was Family Day that it happened. And they were in a car accident, like, very sad. They just hit black ice and slid into oncoming traffic. Like there's nothing that they could do. And none of my emails stopped coming in. None of my marking stopped. I still had to catch up on everything. And when something happens in your homeschooling, it seems like it can be like the biggest thing in the world, and you just end up, falling behind. And I get that. So some students will take longer than the 3 years to graduate because it's impossible to get work done at home. And I get that. During COVID, it's been especially hard. There's been family coming back into town from out of town and things like that. So graduating in 4 years can totally be done. There's no problem with taking an additional year to complete things. You can work and do summer school. That's an option. So just know that if things are going sour, I can meet with you guys and I can help out. However, let's say on the opposite end of the spectrum, you are in absolutely great spirits and you've got a ton of energy and you are just flying through courses. It is possible to graduate early. It's important to make sure that you've hit all the required courses. If you wanted to graduate early, one of the big things is English. You have to complete English 10, 11, and 12 in order to graduate early. So you have to make sure that that's all scheduled correctly. The most popular graduating early that I see is where students take 8 courses in grade 10, 8 courses in grade 11, and then 4 courses in grade 12 first semester and finish in the first semester rather than that. Some families will also choose to do some of the easier, less academic courses over the summer in order to boost the transcript up a little bit. courses like PE, career life education, upper level, like if you're really into music, if you're really into something, you could do a course over the summer and get that over with and add credits that way. So there are definitely ways to do that to expedite things. I can help out with that if you do plan or if you do want that to be an option for you. Graduating early and trying to get into a competitive university program is pretty tough because you have to do a bunch of additional courses. But if you're looking for the bare minimum to graduate and get those 80 credits, there are definitely easier ways to get to the finish line and finish early. So that's kind of it for that. I'm going to end with external credits. And external credits are really cool because you can get credit for doing things completely unrelated to typical school. So I'm going to minimize my head again, bring me down here. And external credits, I think this is where I can look it up. So organizations that offer external credits, there are so many different things. 4-H is a popular one. Royal Conservatory of Music is a popular one. Royal Academy of Dance. Canadian Forces, if you're in cadets, any type of cadets, there are credits. Girl Guides, I can't remember what the guys version is. Oh yeah, the Duke of Edinburgh Award is for Scouts, I believe. So Girl Guides, Horse Council, like life saving. If you go to the YMCA in your local area and you become a lifeguard or you take any of those courses, those all count for external credits. I got external credits when I was in high school because I did a PADI scuba diving course. So I did 2 different courses. I did a beginner diver and an adventure diver course. And I think each one of them counted for 3 credits. 2 or 3 credits, one of the 2. Anyways, it was cool. But there's tons and tons of different areas. You'll see Royal Conservative Music and Royal Academy of Dance are 2 very popular ones that families get into. Scouts, 4-H, scuba diving, you can see. If you do your Transport Canada, if you do the driver's training course when you get your L, that counts as 2 credits, I believe. And the way external credits work, there's a sports ones. Another external credit for sports is like if you are on a select team. So if you're in high level sports, if you compete in like summer games or winter games, things like that, if you play high level hockey or whatever it is, there are certificates and things that you can send me, and you send them to me. I have to submit them to our registrar, and there's some paperwork that I have to do, but then these credits go immediately onto your transcript. So they're really cool. It's not like you have to take a course to do them, like Math 10. If you simply complete the level 6 for Royal Conservatory of Music in I think it's the practical and the theory, boom, you get 4 credits. 4 credits of music, and it's awesome. All right, that is all for today. Thank you for watching. I'm so grateful that we got to chat. My kids are home, and take care.